And we are back once again, ladies and gentlemen, live from the Bravo stream here at the Rainbow Six Major in Gävle, Sweden. We are just about ready to jump into our next matchup here, which is going to be Team ONE versus Vitality. And I've got Hap with me here to break it down. Let's go ahead and get those rosters up on screen and take a look at the teams we have in this matchup. Now, unfortunately, before we get too deep into this one, we do want to say that for the most part, this group is fairly done and dusted at this point. Team ONE is already qualified, and unfortunately for Vitality, they are already confirmed to go home. So this is just purely going to be for seeding purposes.
Yeah, it is going to be seeding purposes. I think Team ONE is also confirmed on that first place. It's also going to be Vitality, looking, of course, to go for 9th to 12th in the major instead of the 13th to 16th. So it is just the eventual standings that can be gained here. And then the question arises, if there's nothing to be gained for Team ONE, they are confirmed, they're good, they're steady. What kind of a game will they be playing? Because they have been playing incredibly over the last 5 games, but now they don't have to anymore.
Which is not surprising, right? Considering once again, they are the most recent champions from the most recent major. So obviously carrying that performance forward, still looking strong once again to do that here. And so far, based on the group stage performance, it's looking good for a possible rerun and a two-peat here on the championship. But obviously still plenty of games to go. And you are right, though, in terms of what game we will get. I'm going to hope for a fun one, ultimately.
Yes.
We are going to go to the map that we've played the most so far here. So if there is anything the Team ONE has not brought out yet, they're certainly not going to bring it out in this map.
No, definitely not. Bank has been played, I don't know, like, I know first day it was like 10 times in total or something in like the 16 games we've had. So it's been insane so far indeed. But it's good to see because I've kind of missed Bank, you know. It was quite happy when it got re-added to the map pool. I'm like, good, we get to see these iterations of the teams bring it back to such an iconic map. Of course, which has been, well, with the Rainbow Six Siege from the start of it. Anyway, Team Vitality, their opponents, you just mentioned it. There's no way they will be making it to playoffs anymore. They are out, and that means that they are also out of their running for the 6th Invitational. What they needed to do is get top 8. Not going to be able to do that, but you can still try and end up as high as you possibly can on the world standings. It's always a, you know, if you end up 17th or 18th, might just feel a little bit less bad about that one than if you end up in the last place now.
Yeah, certainly, and it's still this match, of course, is going to be some great international experience in a live match playing against a team like Team ONE. They are the major winners after all, and a big contender to be possibly the winners at this event as well. So you still want to take this match as seriously as possible to get that experience, learn possibly some things that may have been going wrong in the other matches as well if they haven't already caught on to it, and adjust for future tournaments. As you said, SI definitely not going to be in the cards, but we still have all of the action coming up in the 2022 season as well once that gets started. We've got all of our players in the lobby now. We'll go ahead and get that veto up on screen in just a second too, and you can see the full veto. I know I already kind of spoiled the map. Apologies for that. I was like, I wasn't supposed to say that until now. But I did, because it's right here in front of me, so that's my bad. We'll go ahead and once again let you guys see the full veto anyway, though, but it is going to be going to Bank.
It is indeed going to Bank. You'll see that soon, and you see what maps have been banned. As in the meantime, Vitality, they all huddle together here, all players coming together with Lee Loon, of course, just to go for a last huddle. It's the last matchup on the major. They are well aware of it, so they're going to make the most of it. As you see it there, Team ONE decided to remove Oregon from the lineup, and Bank was thus decided. As you mentioned, map we've seen many times before. Vitality, well, they can just go for a good practice match here, prepare themselves for, well, it is quite far ahead, but prepare yourselves. Stage 1 European League 2022, that is going to be somewhere in March or something like that it starts. So that's a couple of months from now on before their first Tier 1 competition starts yet again. So after this, they can go on a bit of a break, actually.
Absolutely the case. So you can see here once again, as you were mentioning, they're going to huddle it up. I'm sure there's talks about, let's make this a good one, guys. This one's going to be our last game of the year. Let's send it out with a bang. And to be fair to Vitality, I mean, they've brought good performances to the table quite a few of the matches inside of this tournament. The very first game, which I believe you and I casted, we saw some great individual performances coming out, especially from Rise, for instance, in his aggressive roam capability. This team is surely a contender. And while, yes, it's going to be quite some time before we see them again, even inside of regular play for the EUL, still have very high hopes for what we could get out of this team in the future, and hopefully future major appearances, and maybe an SI appearance going into 2023 also.
Yeah, that's it, right? Like, they changed after the 6th Invitational, or after the original transfer window, of course, because SI was moved to the full French lineup. They struggled a bit during Stage 1. During Stage 2, they came in 5th, just a point or 2 behind on a potential qualification, and now they have made it here. If their current trend continues, who knows, maybe we will see them again with the very next major we see, and they will be making it out of their group that time. Team oNe, on the other hand, they had a miracle run during Mexico, and ever since they have been on fire. And right here, right now, have an opportunity to have a bit of a fun, relaxing match before all the pressure starts yet once more on Friday.
Well, the bans start up here fairly quickly. Going to be an interesting one to start things off, as Team oNe's going to ban out the Sledge. Makes perfect sense. There's a lot of top-down real estate to clear out with Sledge specifically, so that will force them onto Buck at the worst, and obviously still going to be a little bit inefficient there, as Buck has way more limitations on the amount of flooring he can take care of. Vitality, yeah, it's going to be a fun one, folks. Vitality are going to ban out Knock as their attacking operator.
Yeah, of course, we've seen, you know, we've seen it actually work with, for example, Dark Zero, who played it. They managed to get a kill or two out of it there, because the cameras were spotting on Chalet both of the Dark Zero members. Vitality managed to actually get one of the kills, but then the help presence activated on Canadian, and, well, you don't know where he is anymore. That's how he managed to clutch it out in that case. But not going to be the case this time around. oNe, last one.
Yeah, another one to throw teams off a little bit here, just to hopefully make things a bit more fun. Rudy actually makes perfect sense. We've been seeing, of course, oNe as well as Jaeger bans be thrown out from time to time. Rudy kind of slots in the very same position as both of those in terms of removing some of the utility mitigation. She has generally been left in the pool as she's more useful for teams, generally speaking, so they tend to try and keep her in play over, say, oNe, but in this instance, obviously, they won't have a choice. They'll have to fall back to oNe, and KDS is already going to select that.
You could always see the combination, of course. Okay, so oNe together with Jaeger, and if you would also be combining that with a Rooney, that is just hell if you want to get grenade kills. There is a couple of teams currently in the major who have been finding their entry kills almost every single round with a grenade. Imagine if you bring it against them, suddenly they will have to rely on their gun power, which of course is often also so no need to truly worry. Easy will be our observer here today, as we head towards the staff room and the open area first.
It's going to be the same start for Team oNe that I believe we saw out of them earlier in this tournament as well. So no surprises in terms of the site choice here for these guys. We're going to get castle support coming in on this as well. Try and drive the rotation points to specific areas of this site. And of course, that will hopefully allow for Team oNe to corral Vitality into areas of the map where they want to control things. Malusi as well will be placing a Banshee down at the bottom of these square stairs there just to slow down the overall progress of Vitality. And that also sets up a little bit of a trap, too, for whoever's going to be playing behind the mirror window over there, an open area to quickly kill that player if they don't catch on to it. More than likely, though, Vitality are going to be smart enough not to be tripped up by that, but there's still the possibility of it. You can see a few other things as well, like the motion sensor just outside of the elevator banks on the first floor there to alert Vitality, or rather alert Team oNe when the Vitality push works their way through the lobby. Aside from that, though, no huge surprises on the setup, as we'll also have that extended deployment upstairs into Janitor.
A couple of times, however, during this tournament, we've seen Twitch drones be entering the site, and they spotted out motion sensors, they looked at it, and they're like, I'm not going to waste my zap on that one. So, you know, whilst it helps out the defenders, often the attackers do not really mind that much. I mean, they'll shoot it when it goes off, but at that very moment in time, especially when it's, for example, next to windows, they've already hurt your rappel in any way, so you don't really need to take it out. Their utility better used elsewhere. P4 sees the shotgun shells open up. Also saw the head down there as he dropped through onto the balcony. Neskin. That some shots were fired back at him, but he can just relax for now. He's not really being challenged as P4 wants to take care of the rest of the top floor first.
P4 continuing to weigh his options cautiously here, as of course plenty of drone presence deployed inside of the map right now for Vitality. You've seen Bibu switching around through quite a few of them as well. Quite a few of the members of Vitality also moving very much individually through this push at this point here, so that's going to lead to some big risks as they start to encroach on a Team oNe territory, but big risks mean big reward as well if you can make them pay off, as Bibu gets a first opening kill. Full banana control, and now a drone ping to help him out here as he downs out KDS and eliminates him too.
It's a second kill to come in from Bibu now. Tries to come around the long desk, holding onto the main stairs as well. It's the main way to go back up for the side of Team oNe. Of course, though, the site is downstairs. They do not need to retake the top floor, but it very often happens when they want to get a flank on again. Cactus, in the meantime, opening up with some of those Excaros, will be making sure that this bottom floor hallway will be compromised a little bit. Levy might be in the fire soon if I believe those Excaros were in the right place. Doesn't seem to be the case. Instead, though, goes for a bit of an aggressive peeker on the main stairs.
Bibo just waiting for an opportunity for this member of Team 1 to overpeak, but it is going to be Bibo that will have to eventually push the envelope on this one. Levy, however, backs away, moves back into the site here to play into a safer position, so Bibo will have the open real estate to move forward, take the control the Vitality need to swing into the site here. Getting very, very close to that dangerous point in the round where Vitality need to work their way in, and Team 1 slowly running out of players to defend this site with. Levy and Lagonis are going to be your mainstays here to defend things off initially, but Neskin also going to be supporting from the back lines. You'll see minimal pressure coming in, at the moment at least, from Vitality towards the square side, as well as the break room doors, but eventually will probably boil in from break side, and Neskin will have to handle that. In they go, an immediate one-to-one exchange as the members of Vitality take some control. People will be dropped on a trade, though, but once again, it's all left to Lagonis, and he's just got a shotgun to play with, so P4 cleans it up, and Vitality claim the first round.
I feels like Bibo saw someone pop up there on one of the cubicles, looked at it, then looked back and looked at it again before he finally was shot down by the shotgun. And even though he wasn't able to pick up that kill, Vitality will be able to pick up the round, and I think a lot of that is due to Bibo's entering there. Just clearing out that top floor that effectively just suddenly gives you a lot of time extra. Also a lot of space to work with to start opening up vertically. As you see right here, that's the first Banshee right afterwards, and the yellow pings really guided him towards the second kill. And that was KDS. LMO and KDS, of course. Some of those, well, also heavy hitters, but it is kind of difficult to call that. It's a bit like BDS, right? Every single member on Team 1 will show up when it's necessary, just like BDS does, just like Space Station Gaming does. That is basically what makes a great team. If every single member can show up at any given time, then you're a very hard-to-beat team.
I believe if the ping numbers were correct there, that was Shinka on the drones helping out Bibo with that push to pick up those 2 kills. So excellent assist coming in from him, inside of that scenario as well. We'll see the members of Team 1 swiftly move on to their next defense, not feeling that they can repeat that open area hold with much success, and I would generally agree with that. Vitality made very quick work of the extended game, and while yeah, there was a few trades inside of the site, it was nothing Vitality couldn't handle in a 5v3. Team 1 will move down into the bunker of the basement instead, where we have seen quite a bit of success with these aggressive setups. Swung out towards the top of the blue stairs here that have wasted massive amounts of times from our attackers already plenty of times this tournament.
Locate a bomb and defuse it.
Yeah, it's not being held as aggressively though as we've seen, back in the day. When Bank was in his first rotation through the map pool. Where often a Ella would be playing their shield, ADS's FO12 shotgun just to stop them from taking that site. Because possibly the map has changed. There's multiple entryways suddenly, and maybe just maybe that is why it is less viable now, the FO12 to be used in that area. Sometimes we do see a Warden still, though. Really depends on what kind of utility is being brought here by the attackers. Team 1 instead decides to just completely, well, they'll play it, but they don't play it as hard or as designated as it can be.
Once again, leading the charge for Vitality here as they work their way through the opening control they need to gather for themselves. And Team 1, for the most part, choosing not to contest any of this as they slowly back away through the hatchwork, not really finding any valid opportunities to swing out and put some pressure on the Vitality members so they continue to hold it back. Run down this timer here, waiting for a better opportunity to come later in the ground. Vitality, of course, still have to spend time clearing things out from top to bottom just to make sure, once again, that there's not going to be any surprises waiting them if they don't fully clear things out. So the drones have succeeded in fulfilling their task there down on the first floor, so we'll see that transition made soon. And now we can see focus put from Vitality onto this blue stairs clear, where Lagonis is going to try to slow things down on his own regard.
We have that Warden playing on this staircase. It's not being held as heavily as you could with, 3 ADSs with every single disc out there. But in the meantime, Vitality might just completely decide to circumvent it as the hatches on the actual site start opening up. They don't necessarily need to have that server under control, but nonetheless are going to put some pressure towards it. Grenades being tossed in together with some EMPs to get rid of that shield. And as Lagonis is now the only man left standing here, is just holding it tight with that shotgun. With that English shotgun, it can basically shred across the map, and as Rice goes in with a skeleton key right there, basically wins that shotgun battle, and will be getting the opening for Vitality as well.
Not the outcome out of that fight that you necessarily expect, but it works here for Rise as he swings his way forward and is able to take out the pressure on Blue Stairs itself. Right now, just going to hold that angle, though he knows KDS will be around the corner, and he knows his teammates are not ready to put the additional pressure onto him. Just as of yet here, they have to wait that out. Unfortunately, they are going to be out, I believe, of those EMP EMP charges as well. Might have one more still sitting in Bibu's inventory. We'll see in a second here as they try to take care of that and push KDS out of this position, or of course outright try to kill him. Not going to have the greatest amount of support from this position either. He's got a little bit of a cross back over inside of lockers from Alamau, but Alamau going to be focused on other things until that swing works its way forward. Vitality, I believe, working on other options as well. They'll now drop down the lobby hatch into the back of the vault here and try to push their way onto the site through that avenue. But Levy, he's ready for that exchange, or at least the trade that'll come from it. Bibu picks up another one, but Bibu will also be exchanged out here. Alamau going to be the only one left, but the timer has run down. Cactus, however, safely got the plant onto the ground, but they don't notice he's sitting right inside of lockers, so he denies the plant, and our defenders pick up round number 2.
Oh, there was 2 members near that near the vault actually when they dropped. The one went for the plant, the other one went into the garage looking to try and find the kill there. A bit of a mistake, if you ask me, because you could have had that second player covering, of course, for a potential push to come through from gold or from anything else. And as a result, it will be Team 1 allowed to pick up that round there, even though they were in control for most of it, you have to say. Of course, Rise was able to swing with the skeleton key, win the server stairs over, and I'm gonna first of all, I really like when players use the skeleton key to, you know, as flexible. It's not just a tool to open up walls, barricades, or ceilings. It is also pretty good if you want to take out players that are holding a tight corner like that, especially with the shotgun, because suddenly you are playing with a shotgun as well. It's the same effect. It's just whoever gets the first slugs off or the first buckshots off that will be getting those kills. So, a bit of accommodation there for Rise. Unfortunately, in the end, did not lead to a round for them. Team 1 will stay and keep us drawn.
You know, I just understood Buck's name.
Buck?
Yeah, Buckshot.
Yeah, exactly.
I just made that connection.
Almost every single one of them has a, you know, their name kind of comes back to what they do, or
yeah, it's like a pun, right?
Yeah.
I don't know why I never made that connection until now. Thought it was just a name. Anyway.
Well, you know, I mean, you learn something new every day in Siege. That's just how it works.
All right, so let's get into it, ladies and gentlemen, as Vitality once again spawned out on the map here and are going to begin putting that pressure from a top-down perspective. Obviously, the site going to be deployed up here, and Levy will actually get a couple bullets thrown his way as he's out over here towards Banana right now. Loses about a third of his HP in the opening seconds of the round, as there is going to be a connection for Vitality, I believe, on the rappel to do that damage to him. So we'll have to be a little bit more cautious about how he proceeds with that in the future. You can see everything else being set up there for Team 1, though, such as the very well-defended setup inside of Janitor. That's, of course, going to be used by Lagonis here to put pressure on the window repels.
All right. Vitality looking to put up some pressure from the lobby side. Mantel being opened up as well, just to provide these long lines of sight past the elevator hallway. Don't really want people to move past that. Cuts down the rotation, at least makes them aware of their surroundings. As Rise now putting up some pressure, he spots the head and finds KDS. That's an entry yet once again. The Buck really working well with him here. Just open up the walls, or you open up the players with the skeleton key, or to finish it up with the C8. It's all possible here. Rise definitely making the most use of it.
So excellent work there by the Buck player, working his way forward, and Levy nearly finding the end of his own run there in the round as he peeks out towards Cactus once again. Cactus still having the angle. See an exchange closer towards Stock, I believe, as Neskin will take out P4, but P4 managed to snipe out Alamau before going down himself, causing the loss, once again, of the Mozzie here. That's an operator that is going to deploy most, if not all, of his utility before the round actually gets started, though, so not a huge overall loss to the team. If he does capture any drones, though, obviously going to have some trouble trying to utilize that. We'll have to call that out towards his teammates. For members of Team 1, they're going to continue to, once again, maintain their own defensive pressure here as much as they can leverage at this point. One more exchange, and they'll be on better footing here. They nearly get it as Bibu is forced off the rappel due to the push coming out a little bit closer towards those windows.
Yeah, definitely so, and now Vitality is stuck basically in that lobby. Just a minute left, Cactus still outside, needs to find his way in. There's going to be a mirror window on the top of those staircases, and they will have to find a way to deal with them. There is still going to be Excaros left on the side of Cactus, so maybe there is something they can do like that. Also, bangs through the walls, through the windows as well. Could be a potential to actually try and challenge as Bibu picks up the kill onto Levy. Now Rise throwing in these flashbangs to try and go for the active challenge here. Gets the kill before the Nitro does come out, and that allows him to start pushing on as Neskin holds off to the main stairs, but gets punished for it. So, Vitality take the round home here. A bunch of the boxes are being given out to the players there just to make sure that the fist bumps keep them motivated.
Once again, we were talking earlier about it, but that aggressive presence from Rise was certainly something to behold so far at this tournament for Vitality, and we're seeing it come in huge dividends once more inside of that round. Not the only kill he's able to get for himself, as we saw right there. He has another one coming up right here, I believe. He's able to snipe out multiple members with these beautifully pre-placed headshots there to take things down, and I believe we get one more as well there from Cactus in the final seconds of the round. Vitality now takes control after that exchange. We'll go 2-1 as well. We're going to go back towards the open area site for the first repeat, I believe, for Team 1.
Yeah, it's going to be the first repeat. This one was won, however, by Vitality before.
Need to locate and defuse as many
People managed to get inside. Then, as I said, was looking, saw someone, but didn't really register it. Looked back and then realized, oh wait, there was someone there before he got shot down by that shotgun. Team 1. Also mentioned before, there is no pressure on them. They can afford getting 0 points. It doesn't change anything for them.
So Team 1 really just here to have some fun more than anything else, and of course looking to try and get a, I believe it would be a, we've had wins from them on all 5 games at least so far, right?
I think they've been beaten once, actually.
Okay, so we'll double check on that one, but yeah, I was going to say looking for maybe a perfect run in the groups, but if they have lost, never mind on that
They've
one.
lost one. I think it was also against Vitality, but I'm not quite sure.
I do remember that. I think it was the very first game of the tournament, if I recall correctly, as well.
No, the first one was against Sandbox, and then that's their third game, first game of day 2. They lost 5-7 to Vitality.
Okay. Well, besides that one, of course, looking to try and make a fairly perfect run here in the groups and still establish their dominance from what we had seen earlier on in Mexico. It's going to be dominance from Vitality here, though, as they come rushing in from the break room, but this is a dangerous push. The exchanges immediately are seen from Team 1 as both Lagonis and Levy find their own pickups, but Shinka evens the numbers out now with the exchange onto Levy, and Cactus feels safe enough to try and go for the plant. Nitros are available on Lagonis, but is he going to use it here? It's not looking likely, and now he's got no chance. Shinka as well. What a flick to shut down one of the remaining members of Team 1. Alamo falters also, leaving just Lagonis now in a 1 versus 3 here. He's going to go for direct contestation, but doesn't even check the break room window, which means a quick shutdown is there once again for Vitality as they take a very quick rush in through the break room window.
Rogue and Vitality are 2 of these teams that throughout this major have been putting up rush after rush, really making them work for them, because I think Vitality, for example, when they go for these rushes in their groups, from the games at least I've seen or casted actively, they've had about a 100% win rate on them. When they go quick, and they completely overwhelm their side. The same went for Rogue. When they would go quick, they will be on the side before they would have even noticed already. The plant will be going down before the kills started coming through. Also really working out for them there. So that is definitely something that, you know, Vitality have been practicing. It's not something we have seen that much of them during the European League. So who knows? Maybe it's a new playstyle that is starting to be formed here.
Well, unfortunately, we won't find out for some time, as we were talking about
that's
before.
For sure.
As Vitality has got quite the long break coming up after this game here, but at least they're giving us a fun show for, like we said, their final showing likely in quite a while here, at least in terms of Tier 1 competition. I think we might see them pop up in some smaller Tier 2 events between now and then, of course, but for the main circuit, this will probably be it for the foreseeable future. We're going to go back, I believe, towards the basement setup here now for Team 1, as they will try that once again. This is where they did find that good amount of success. Vitality had issues transitioning after using the skeleton key to clear out the blue stairs, putting enough presence on different parts of the map. They're setting up that big rushed play through the main lobby hatch going down to vault at the end of the round, but failing to notice once again the player inside of lockers as they had to rush the plant and split off with no support on the planter, leaving that player very vulnerable and very easy to be shut down as he was planting past the 0 seconds.
I don't think we're going to see a similar round this time, though. They, you know, were forced to explode onto the site, really, because there was no other way in, surely, after, of course, these servers themselves to be challenged. So they just did what they could, then they started running with about 4 seconds left. You know, the diffuser was still in the vault at that point, so they just had to go for that plant. It's just the second member could have gone for the cover instead, and that is something that surely they will learn off. As before, holding an aggressive angle. It's almost never working, right? If you are playing on those blue stairs, your whole task is to not peek that door. You're staying behind your shield. You're waiting until they peek you, because if you start peeking out, that is how you get picked up early. That is how you get picked up without wasting time or having an impact at all in the round. So Gonis, of course, a very experienced player, is very well aware and will potentially just hide behind that shield until he no longer can. At that moment, he will be forced to go aggressive.
You have Neskin out and about here, but he's got a soft panel for the retreat here. Just pinged it as well. I believe he's called for it to be opened up here. So there we go. He's got his retreat option available. Just waiting to see if any opponents might try to swing him here from that front stairs area before falling back down. But yeah, has to go for it. This is turning into far too risky of a scenario for him to continue holding that spot, as the swing could be coming at any moment here. Rise wrapping around the corner is going to spot up the motion sensor really quickly. That avoids giving Team 1 the cue that they're going to push down here when they finally commit to this later. But still holding, as there's still plenty of excess time remaining for Vitality. As you mentioned, though, they are not going to let themselves be tripped up in the same way that they were in the last round, not having enough time to appropriately attack the site. So it seems like they're going to go for a much more decisive drop, possibly through those hatches directly this time around here.
They might still go for a back push here. They might still drop through the elevator, but maybe with a bit more manpower, maybe a little bit more thought through. Now they know, of course, where Team 1 had themselves set up when they did go for that push. It might help them out just a small bit here to try and be a little bit more effective in these gunfights. Flashbangs are, however, being used. Vitality is getting themselves into a position, and as those Excaliburs have been placed in a very, very far corner, I assume this is a hot drop. They have it. 2-3 men will be dropping through the hatches. Levy, will he be looking back in time? That is going to be the question. 3 men! He will be able to get just one, though. Cactus now pushing aggressively. They need to take control of this actual B-bomb side, and they will do it. No, it will not. It's a grenade, however, that tries to trade Alamar, but the diffuser is dropped in the middle of the site.
Alamau kept alive there by the luck of the fact that the nade wasn't cooked. Neskin also able to trade on a P4 now. The members of Vitality losing their numbers quickly. Bibu trying to hold on inside of lockers, but he too goes down to Alamau. Just Shinka now, and he was the player that stayed up on top here inside of that previous situation. So now he's got to run down through all this barbed wire as well. It's a dead giveaway to where he's playing from, and it's a dead kill for Alamau as he finishes things off. I believe a triple on the round for him there, as another successful basement defense is picked up by Team 1.
Not really the quick round that we are used to be seeing here from Vitality, but still a hot drop nonetheless. Something you do not really often see in pro play. It almost never really works out. Someone's normally watching those hatches as they do get opened up. But Levy, imagine the panic in the calls when you see 3 men dropping at the very same time and you just start shooting and instantly get taken out yourself.
So some good stuff there once again from Team 1, keeping their wits about them. And also, again, nice catch from Levy, being very prepared for the drop. And even though he goes 1 for 1, it seems like the members of Team 1 had a pretty good idea about how that was going to go when there was virtually zero pressure on the actual assault by the blue stairs that they had used quite heavily to get themselves into the basement on the previous round. We're going to the final round of the half here now, and it's going to be another upstairs hold from Team 1 as they'll try to secure their third, what would be the final round of this half, of course, here. But Vitality also looking to seal that away and secure a fourth for themselves. Let's see who comes out on top, as once again, we're going to see this ultra-defined setup come in over here inside of Janitor. A lot of support going to be on that, as even bandit batteries will go down to support Lagonis' eventual position, as he'll more than likely place a mirror window there in a few seconds.
Yeah, probably Lagonis will put up a mirror window there, and I think Levy will even be playing right behind it as the Warden, considering that often smoke plants will be trying to cover offset mirror window to make sure that you can plant right underneath those windows or next to the desk instead. Is Levy the one who has those glasses available that make you suddenly get rid of any flash effect or allow you to look through the smoke? Would be the perfect operator, of course, to be sitting right next to that mirror window that is often prone to the executes. Diffuser does get dropped. A lot of members will be going over to the roofs. They want to try and bring the challenge here to Levy. He's trying to peek quite aggressively so far.
Cactus is once again going to be up on Repel here, trying to see if he can isolate out any of the members of Team 1 that may try to go for these aggressive positions by Banana. Cactus, well, has a drone fairly close to the Mozzie being played by Team 1 there. That's Alamal taking care of that job, but it's not going to be able to notice it this time around here. As the team moves in, they more than likely will notice the player inside of stock as that drone passes by, and People's just going to pull this Twitch drone back more than likely, so it can be either finding out the position of this pest to take that out or some other form of utility going away, but actually he's just going to hand that one over, apparently, over to the members of Team 1.
Oh, that's problematic now. he's like,
it's like, well, that didn't go what it's
okay, I have one of my Twitch drones, guys. I'm pinging it here on my second drone that I could have used instead to try and get rid of the pest, but please get it out, because otherwise... See, Shinka's going in the hunt now as well. They want to get rid of that drone, because if he starts putting down the exothermic charge, imagine that drone just hopping around, just zapping it off and getting back into safety again. Bibu as well, sending in a second drone, hoping to potentially find it, maybe neutralize it himself, because that is a drone gone rogue for sure.
He's going to move in here. Believe did he miss it?
I think he did. I think he did miss the mirror window there. Where you can surely check on.
Yeah, he did.
Closed. Yeah. I think it's Lagonis that caught the shot instead.
So nicely done from Lagonis there, blocking off that one, keeping the strength of that janitor setup alive. And as you guys already saw, the first Twitch drone was stolen by Alamau, so no more opportunities to knock that window out. Vitality has got a tough task ahead of them now in terms of trying to put any pressure from the north side of this map onto that site.
Some grand theft drone going on right here. Either way, flashbangs being tossed over. Vitality now really do not have a way in because they wanted to clear out the janitor, but the mirror window still stands. That means that, just like the last time around, they probably will be forced to move up the spiral stairs and, you know, try and get the kills that way. This time, C4 will be tossed out and will explode. However, no kill just yet. And as Rise is trying to go deep over the banana right here, does not quite spot out a player yet, but does see some of the traces coming out.
Levy picks up the first response, but Rise is there for the exchange on the attacker's side of things. They'll move forward now deeper into the site where we do have the challenge from Lagonis ready as well, but it's Cactus to take out the next target on Team 1 instead before Alamau can now jump into this fight. No longer worried about Twitch drones. He's got a frag out at this point, but only for one, as he also goes down on an immediate exchange. KDS rushing back into Jay gets caught also as Lagonis has had to rotate out of it. Lagonis now the only one in this play, not expecting such a forward movement from Cactus there. He picks up one more kill to solidify the round of Vitality in a surprising victory there, despite their incapability to deal with the janitor setup up until the late round.
That's it, right? And of course, they didn't really need the janitor there for the push that they were going to put up, because just like the first time around, they went for the lobby take. They just rushed up the stairs, they used that speed and try and pick up the kills as a result. Was coming down from the main stairs, and I believe that was possibly Stock as well. No, it was just Cactus coming up in the main stairs here. So really coming from multiple different angles, working it out here. And you know, the window, it's nice if it's open because it allows you to challenge the player inside a janitor once the time is there. But I believe it was opened by themselves or either from below by one of the Vitality members instead. So they will be going over to the defense themselves this time, however.
And now they're going to start things out in the same exact position that we saw Team 1 do, so it's going to go to another open area defense for them. This has been the go-to, I believe, for Vitality on the bank map so far this tournament as well, so nothing huge and surprising there. Very similar setup, also going to come into the fold here. Emphasis on the extended game upstairs here between P4, Bibu, as well as Rise, and to some extent Shink and Cactus also. But, of course, we are going to see the castle barricades brought in just to bolster the actual site setup a little bit, as well as possibly, that extended game of 1 or 2, and then we're going to be used upstairs to try and bolster their positions, whether it's in J for the eventual fallback or somewhere else.
It's of course a bit of a buff that Castle has gotten, considering the 4th castle barricade that is now going to be available to him. It's been a very long time. Castle operator that has seen relatively little change throughout the development cycle of Siege, and now has gotten a extra castle barricade, but they've gotten a little bit weaker. And you might wonder, how did they get weaker? But it's because the punching. You could always open them whilst punching. It always used to be 12 punches, so sometimes you would see people prep 11 punches on it, or 10 if they wanted to play the mind game with the attackers, and then go for that 1-punch jump out after they thought they were going to be safe. That has now turned into 8. Just 8 strikes with your melee, and that suddenly opens up those castle barricades.
So a slow start to this round, as you would generally expect out of these situations here. Team 1 want to take things nice and carefully just to make sure that they're not going to slip things up, and they certainly won't do that as Bibu instead will be caught, I believe, close to Banana. They are lurking out, where we'll find his corpse at. So he'll be caught out early on by Team 1 this time. That'll give Team 1 the early advantage they need to keep on swinging. Rise as well going to be in trouble, but he's got the additional support from P4 to make sure the trades go out. And P4 gets the second one as well due to the jump out here. He has to go racing back into the sewers, but he will find safety there, meaning he's going to stay alive, and Vitality are going to retake their advantage here, bringing it down to a 4v3.
I wasn't really so confused. The shots are coming in from the outside as well onto Rise, and then the jump back comes through to really save his life. Levy now on the top floor is trying to basically scavenge whatever is left of Rise. He could still be upstairs. He could have already maybe gone down. They don't really know, so they need to make sure that they drone it out properly. It seems like one is well aware of the fact that surely they are not still on the top floor. 1 minute 30 is left, however. There is almost nothing done in terms of verticality, and that leaves Team 1 with little options. They can either try and push through the archives. That gives you a small opening, of course, into the side office. As Lagonis is going to get tagged from the, well, a little bit of an elevated angle into the open area. It is going to be Vitality that put the pressure up even higher.
So Team 1 here looking for a way to recover as we encroach on the final minute of the round. They do have one member of Vitality incredibly low in Rise, but again, Rise has been one of the mainstays for this team and has even found quite a bit of success with his aggression despite the low HP, so I wouldn't count him out in terms of contributing for the Vitality roster just as of yet here. P4 also still maintaining presence on the inside, the bottom blue stairs. Alamal soon to potentially challenge against that though as he creeps in from the sewer side due to Team 1 finally getting low on time and need to look for an alternate path forward. This is going to be a pinch against him also as Alamal creeps forward. It's going to check around him, but still won't be able to catch it as Alamal gets a nice clean kill to finish off P4 and once again even out the numbers that will leave the site vulnerable now as they're getting ready to push in here. And in just a second, we'll open up 2 pathways forward. We're going to see the stuns go out, but they're actually going to be missed a little bit, not able to make it through that breach. They don't have the charge they want inside of the site right now. Still going to have to just chuck out the second one and hope it works out. But again, it's too long range. The members of Vitality seem ready for the fight. Alamal, though, carrying it forward. Every single kill for his team so far. He's got to put the case down now as well, and Shinka's still here to resist, but Shinka, I think he's missed the audio cue here. He's going to allow it to go down, and now he's got to suddenly push out against his opponent, but he gets the drop, gets the kill onto Alamal, and he's going to get the clutch to take a 5th round for Vitality.
It's going aggressive, doesn't quite know yet whether or not the down is in, and there it is. The Ace really gets a night there from Alamal, gets that final spray down with the SMG-11, and Vitality aren't going to be able to still bring that one home. 2-5. They're leading their score, and well, they also know, unfortunately, they're not going to be able to make it out of playoffs. At least they're trying to go out with a bang.
Certainly the case here, and what a round played out by Alamal, nearly winning that pretty much all on his lonesome, including dealing with what could have been a very problematic player in the Vigil placed at the bottom of the blue stairs. Their excellent pinch. We're going to see that one more time here. Even at P4 turning around, he noticed it, but still, it did not matter. Alamal is too smooth of an operator here inside of this situation and continued to be so up until that 5th and final member of the team where he finally failed in the 1v1 there to the SMG-11, and the round ultimately, of course, goes to Vitality.
Shinka, of course, had no clue. You don't get those points that you guys get at home when you're playing the game. When you get the injure, actually, you don't get that anymore either when you're playing. Maybe still in casual, but not on ranked at least. They have removed that. So, bringing it a little bit closer towards the competitive play. Either way, it's going to be Vitality that is currently 2 rounds away from winning out this game. A game that means nothing to Team 1, we have to mention though, and well, for Vitality will just secure them their 3rd place in the group, which leaves them with just a little bit more extra prize money, a bit of extra SI points, which unfortunately do not really matter anymore, given the way that things are going. They needed to go out of groups if they wanted to go to SI. There's no other option to qualify through the point system, mind you. There's still going to be the last chance qualifier, however, for every single region, that is. More info will surely be released shortly. Either way, Team 1 and Vitality. Is Vitality going to try and just close it off here with, you know, a 7-2 victory, something of the likes of that? Or are we going to see Team 1 try and fight it back? And you know what? They want to use another win in the groups as well.
Quick reminder, guys, once again, we've got the game going on over on the Alpha stream as well. There is Dark Zero, also, unfortunately, already locked in 4th place for this group. It's challenging the current 2nd place inside of this group also. Be sure to go ahead and check that out. If you're interested in following your favorite teams, once again, that's going to be over at twitch.tv/Rainbow6 or the main Rainbow 6 channel on your streaming platform of choice. Levy continuing to hold this angle on the outside here as it's a slow roll this time for Team 1. Already catching on to the issues that they have noticed previously here, specifically, once again, the Mute Jammer blocking off their access to the upstairs hallway and keeping these extended positions from Rise, Bibu, and to some extent Cactus very, very well secured at this point.
Alamal, of course, is in a position where he could theoretically try and get an impact up towards those Mute Jammers and get rid of the whole issue. Bibu, however, wants to make sure that, you know, no drone is going to be able to get far enough to, well, get the information there. A quick jump to try and get some information, and Bibu just decides to take down that one drone. A little bit of information, nothing more than that.
Says hello and goodbye as he takes care of that drone nice and quickly. Unfortunately, that drone didn't really have a path forward regardless due to the actually very clutch timing on throwing down that final pest to make sure he denies that intel. Probably get the sound cue because it echoes pretty heavily inside of that room and just plopped down on the ground to make sure that those drones could not make any more forward momentum. Quick move from Bibu once again, and it's going to force Team 1 to go the other direction here. They're going to put some pressure back on the stock as well as top square side of things. Maybe actually, never mind, below inside of electrical. As we can see a member of Vitality once again maintaining their own position. P4, this is just the top of blue stairs, trying to get in the way of this push yet again. You can see Vitality as well really trying to test some of the more exterior sites for themselves. They're going to go for the Teller's Hold on this one here. What an interesting layout that they've brought to the table in order to do this. And you can see Team 1 struggling to try and figure out what the best point of insertion is going to be, but they finally seem to have locked in on it here as they have that top pressure, and in just a moment are going to begin to crunch from the lobby side.
They will want to open up into the teller's office, however, from the tellers, just to make sure you have that little bit of an extra opening. Neskin will definitely provide some support from above with that buck, opening up these default positions, really stopping Vitality from being able to anchor down in the actual direct side. They need to be offside to hold this now, and that gives a lot of freedom here for Team 1 to try and put up for a plant. However, do not forget, they can still try and move back. They can still try and dance around all these buck shots being shot through the ceiling.
Oh no.
Besides that, Alamau that gets the entry here for Vitality.
Unfortunately, it's going to be Alamau taking out one of his own teammates in order to accomplish that. Vitality still at full strength as we enter the final 10 seconds of the round. P4 not necessarily expecting the second player to come in from Tellers, but he's heard the sound cues now and he's going to expect it. His teammates have handled the rest of this, and there's really no time left anyway. Even if Levy is going to pick up the kills here, it won't matter as Vitality will win it out. Once again, on a 0 timer, and they go up on map and match point.
If it's a 5-on-5 and there's 20 seconds left and the round starts off with a team kill for the attackers, that is generally not going
yeah, it's probably not
that's not going to be helping out. The perk was, of course, from above, but there's only so much you can do if you're playing against a highly mobile team. They're just going to be running around and across all at the same time. It's going to be very difficult for you to find us here again. Alamau getting that first initial team kill, and then P4 cleaning up afterwards, making sure that the diffuser gets dropped twice.
Replay person had to remind us of that, of course.
Yeah, had to remind us of that one, just to let everybody know that Alamau sometimes plays a double ancient.
Finally got that 5th kill, at least. Just unfortunately was his teammate. So
yeah,
Alamau trying his best inside of that situation, but it was a lot to ask of Team 1 at the end of that round, so they're not going to be able to bring it to bear. And with that said, Vitality, as we already discussed, move up onto map point here now. Unfortunately, all for naught, as we mentioned many times. This is just a seeding game here. Team 1 trying to really lock in first place if it wasn't already locked in, which I'm pretty sure it was, and the same for Vitality in third here. Unfortunately, cannot make it out of the groups. Cannot even qualify for SI, but they will get that probably a little bit of a boost to the prize money at a minimum, as well as a moral victory from closing out this final game here, taking down Team 1, potentially 7-2 if they continue to excel in this defense and close out this one final upstairs hold. Team 1 bringing a very similar lineup to the table, no reason for them to change things up, and like we said, there's not really a reason for them to necessarily try and fight back here unless they just want the experience against Vitality.
Just saw Bibu there in the chat, was quickly highlighted by our observer, saying after the team kill, don't stress, Alamau, you're already qualified. Bibu quickly putting in those words, and he responded, it's okay, don't worry. They don't worry, that's it, they are confirmed. Sambos could theoretically come up until the same points, but then head-to-head is going to be the tiebreaker, and well, Team 1 beat them with 7-2 and 7-1, so I don't think that will be an issue for them. And thus, they are already confirmed at that first seed. KDS now from the side of the building, looking to potentially find one of two Vitality players, or cut down some of these long angles, as Bibu, putting up that mirror window, can now try, or instead, put up a little bit of pressure towards the lobby stairs.
Vitality continuing to wait this one out patiently here. They've got a couple players leading in aggressively, but you can see Team 1's got the number on them a little bit as Rise going to get chased down. Once again, Alamau leading the charge here for Team 1. So the pivotal player for Team 1 throughout most of this game, and this round's going to be no different as he leads at 10-6 on the scoreboard for his squad there. Once again, picking up the first entry for the team and continuing to push his entry efficiency that much further as well there. Levy will see the pressure coming back out from Banana, is actually going to back away for the front door a little bit. Curious to see if Team 1 are going to change up their overall push as a result of that pressure. Once again, things will continue to be played out similarly.
Some of you might have been wondering there, why does Neskin destroy that phase to go on a drum? Well, that is just simply because you can dig yourself in just a little bit deeper, so you do not get challenged from stock or from the main door. It's a little bit harder. They need to swing even wider if they want to make it happen. But he's already off it now. On the top square, trying to put up some pressure is Bibu still on the banana, just roaming around, hoping to pick up a kill. And it's Levy that brings the fight to him. Both take equal amounts of damage here. And Bibu, well aware of the fact that they are already a man down, will calm down just a little bit here. This team is looking to go for a repel in.
Drone presence is impressive here at the moment here from Team 1, only using about half their drone count, but they have been pinging out members of Vitality so quickly here, and now even have real estate on the site to go for a plant. They've swung their way in and are tearing apart the rest of the defense. That's the change up right there from Team 1. You can see it. Some of their members even just surprised about how quickly they were able to work their way in and wipe the members of Vitality off the face of that map.
I think Alma was a bit surprised that Bibu was down there right next to him, tossing that C4 to stop the plant from happening, and he repels in. And suddenly there's a mirror there standing with the Vector, and you saw his hands go up in the air. Just look at that, look at that. Either way, he really opened us up here, of course, in the hunt on the Oryx that was playing from below. That is the first entry, and as the plant then comes, there you have it. See, left up of your screen, Alma repelling in. Suddenly finds the mirror there. And they close up yet another round. It's 3-6 now. Team 1, they bring it back just so slightly. But they're just having fun. They honestly, they can play very loose. They don't have to show any stats. What they could do, however, is manipulate the stats by playing operators that they would otherwise not play that much. To shift, you know, the balancing around a little bit. So more statistical analysis are going to be like, well, they have played a lot of Operator X, for example. Maybe we should ban it, and it's never part of the plan. It's something that EU teams do a lot during their nationals. They ban operators they normally wouldn't ban during the European League because opposing analysts are going to be looking at that, and they're like, well, there's a reason why they ban it. There must be a reason.
Certainly the case there, and we'll see one of those at least be the Nook ban inside of this one. That was exactly from Vitality, of course, that's thrown out and has some validity behind it, but for the most part is going to be a very, very niche ban, as you pointed out there with Dark Zero. Yeah, having a slight amount of success with it, but not nearly enough, at least in my opinion, to justify an outright ban of her in any situation, especially here on Bank. Either way, we've got Team 1 working their way into it, as once again they look to hold on here. 3 more rounds needed to trigger OT. Vitality, if they claim any one of those next 3, the map will go to them, and while they won't be able to increase their overall placing in the tournament, they will secure what they've already claimed for themselves here. Team 1 once again heavily relying on the drone presence. Rise seems to have an inkling that he might have been spotted out here. Obviously it's the yellow ping, so he's not being notified of it just yet. If they go for the hot pings, the red ones there, it's going to be a little bit different, but players will for the most part avoid those except in emergency situations or a situation where they want to try and force that player out of that position and make them panic, like right there, as we see Neskin get the opening kill here against Rise.
Also, let's quickly mention Vitality is actually already locked in on the 3rd place now because the head-to-head to Dark Zero is equal. They're 4 points ahead now, so there's no way that Dark Zero can still catch up on that in their game that they're currently playing against Sandbox. Now, Vitality also, nothing really to play for anymore except for having fun here in P4. Well, he's not really having too much fun. He's being hunted down and wall-banged as well. There's no way he can try and challenge back. Instead, he tries to decide to go a little bit more aggressive. Maybe he wants to get into that stockroom, go and set himself up for a bit of a flank as Alamau. Sneaking up on the main stairs here, knows there is a vigil close.
Not going to be able to find the exact position just yet. And even smarter, the Vigil will not outright move in there and try and shoot out the Twitch drone that's been moved forward. So Alamau is going to be a little bit cautious about how he moves forward. He's got a good expectation about where to find this player, and he just fired it out. I believe catches Shinka mid-reload there too, so takes him down out of the fight. Follows it through with a second one. Beautifully done by Alamau as he knocks out Cactus and knows he's got more on his flank as well. Here comes the Vigil. That takes out P4. Let's see if he can go for the full 4 kill once again. Here's Bibu, the last one left to challenge it. And of course, Alamau has got no problems at all handling that one.
I'm not even surprised. He runs into the side, he gets that kill. It's like, well, he'll start cleaning up now. He's where he needs to be. He doesn't need to travel any further. Everybody will be coming back to him in that case. So Alamau, again, showing a big here. And he's laughing it out. He has a lot of fun during this game. Big smiles. That is always important here. And you know, with this, he puts himself up onto 16 kills in 10 rounds. That is a 1.6 KPR. That is insane.
Some really incredible stuff coming out from him here. Is once again just cleans up shot. Bibu, you could see again trying to like, okay, maybe if I slow this peak down, do it a little differently, I'll get the better of him. But no, unfortunately not. Alamau just way too omnipotent inside of that situation there and shuts down every single one of the members of Vitality still alive at that point in the round. Vitality go back to the bunker setup here. Now they're going to head into the depths of the basement to try and secure things. 2 more chances to go. Otherwise, Team 1 will trigger OT and will still have a chance to claim the additional 2 points for a win inside of that.
That's it. The win is still on the board here for Team 1, just not the full 3-pointer, but I don't think they will really mind, considering their first place is locked in. We cannot stress it enough, really, because these groups, all that really matters is just get through. Make sure you qualify. It doesn't matter how you do it, as long as you qualify. And then maybe seeding. That might be the second place, right? You want 1 or 2. Might depend, might influence who you will be playing again later. But after that, once you've got the seed that you want and you've been qualified, you don't really need to perform at that very moment. And that is basically what you're seeing from Team 1 right now. And even though they don't need to perform, that they are still showing up. And they're still a very scary force to deal with. I can't even tell if they're just, throwing the strats that we've already seen, or if they're just, trying some new things in the meantime as well. They still look like a good and cohesive team, so it's very difficult to judge whether or not they're trying to save strats or if they're not.
For the most part here, I think Team 1 more than for the most part just trying to run through the motions in terms of, especially their early round the drone game and whatnot. They really seem to be focusing on that arena here, especially for Alamau. It's been working out really, really well. Vitality, I think, doing a lot of the same thing on their attacking half as well. They're just to make sure that those parts of the round are cleaned up very nicely. Speaking of cleaning things up nicely, it's going to be Rise. Well, not really cleaning it up, but rushing it out towards the outside of the building here to pick up his first kill. It's got to be cautious though on the way back in, as Levy still has the repelled angle. Rise does not account for that, and as a result, Levy gets a quick exchange, and we go right back down onto even terms in a 4v4.
Wanted to be cheeky there, impact the door quickly and go back through the ATMs. However, that's the one angle that was being watched. If you would have been taking the door on the left there, you might have been able to sneak out or at least try and return some fire. Either way, Team 1. They are men down, but so is Vitality, and his grenades are being tossed in quite effectively. It's B4 to take a small bit of damage. Not quite sure if there was information on that. There was a ping, but that was nowhere near close Vitality. And P4 actually dropped down now. His Cactus is going to be able to get a bit of a tap through the wall, I believe. It's going to be P4 to drop the diffuser now as well. Retaking the server. Maybe on the main stairs together with Alama. I'm not quite sure where he is. Need to clear it out now. It's the garage that they're trying to push from. Need to go through the entire site right here if they want to at least keep themselves in the game.
Alamau here losing his only other teammate inside of this situation, so he's going to try to push forward, looking for the 1v4 clutch this time, but no, finally goes down. And that'll seal the deal, ladies and gentlemen. Vitality come out of their final game of the tournament with a win, but sadly it will still be their final game. Commiserations to them, but at least they ended on a good note here as they take down the most recent major champions 7-4 on Bank.
Yeah, I managed to get that win here. It will be worth quite a bit, and you guys don't see it, but they just wished Team 1 some more good luck for the playoffs. They always, of course, the sportsmanship there. Vitality, they have won, but before we break this down any further, let's toss it to a quick break before we're back to you.
What does it take to create the future of a gaming community? Join us on this 4th episode of I Call Next as we discover how to level up gameplay and reset the expectations of an entire league. PayPal. Press play.
Easy going right there. One more to go.
And we're bringing you back one more time, ladies and gentlemen. Blue and Half here to break down that most recent match between Vitality and Team One. Not a whole lot to break down there, unfortunately. Like we said, going into that map, there was not a whole lot to play for. Both of our teams had either already qualified for the group stage or were already set for elimination there. So for the most part, just a bit of a scrim between those two teams as they play it out there for points and for seeding that unfortunately really can't even be changed at this point.
No, definitely not. Of course, for Vitality, they could have still lost that third place, but at the moment they hit that 6th round, that one was confirmed as well, so they didn't really need to worry anymore either. The one big scary thing, though, for them was Alamau, just time and time again, really picking up the quad kills and the triple kills, round after round after round, as he ended up, I believe, on 16 kills total. We'll surely get to that after the replays with the scoreboard. As well, some of the plays, actually, we saw good use of the bug from Vitality. I think that is something we can keep in mind. They had some nice, well, a nice rush, so to say. They tried a bold strategy with a hedge drop, which unfortunately did not work out. I would have loved to see that one work out and let them see completely outrun the site. And then the defense, well, they're just trying to clear it up in the end.
We saw this inside of the first and second round as well. Some great drone usage to be able to knock out some of the more aggressive members of Team 1 played mainly by Bibu on the actual assault. I think in most situations there, Shink is supporting on the drones themselves, calling that out for him. So some great teamwork between those two players from Vitality. Definitely some good things to be seen. And like we were talking about in the midst of that game, I think there's going to be good things on the horizon for Vitality if they're going to be able to play like that internationally more as they gain more experience, of course, moving into the next stage of the EUL, potentially try and sneak into SI in the last chance qualifiers where more information is available about that. And of course, once majors start up again, getting further into the 2022 season.
Yeah, definitely so. 2022 is going to be their year potentially to start improving themselves, to start consistently making it to these majors, because that is where they want to be, of course. It's been their dream for a long time. They've not always been able to get there. They've gotten close time and time again, and now finally they've made it back to the grand stage, just not the grand stage of this major.
Meanwhile, for Team 1, of course, faltering inside of that matchup, but not really much to blame on that. Like we said, they're already locked in for first place, so they have absolutely nothing to gain by playing this map out to their fullest extent. They definitely don't want to show any further strats they might have still been saving for Bank, because that would have just been free info for their opponents going into the group start, going into the playoff stage. So I wouldn't do that, so I'm sure they wouldn't do that either. And once again, played a fairly default game, as we would generally expect them to do there. Even despite that, still gave us a fairly close scoreline, as we talked about many times there as well. Alamau giving us a great individual performance on quite a few of those rounds, picking up quad kill after quad kill. I think he got 2 or 3 of them over the course of that game. Definitely a multitude of multi-frags at some point during the match. There's some excellent stuff for him as he picked up 16 kills before the end of it. And here was this big clutch right here as he closed things, or rather this big shutdown, I should say, right here. Not even a clutch. Had the support of pretty much all of his teammates to make sure they got a flawless round.
Yeah, for sure. And you know how we mentioned before, like ST1, you don't really want to give too much away. You might want to try and put analysts of opposing teams onto the wrong foot. I'm just afraid that with the amount of LMR we've seen on Twitch, not just during this match, but also during previous matches, we might see, I'm not sure, but a Twitch ban coming in playoffs. It could be on the board, you don't know, because that Farmers in his hands is truly deadly, and that's something you would like to avoid. Either way, looking at the ratings there, Alamau topping the boards with 1.77. The rest of his team will be just under 1 or a little bit further under 1, depending on the person. Whereas on Vitality, just Bibu not making it there, but overall, solid performance from every single one of them.
Yeah, despite the prominence from Alamau, actually surprisingly low cost as well, tied with both Neskin and Lagonis at 64%. It's actually Levy that tops out the contributions overall inside of a round-to-round basis. That's what our cost stat does if you're not a seed viewer, by the way. It generally just measures if a player contributed to the overall victory inside of a round or not. So Levy ends up topping that one out at 82%, and we end up with a 3-way tie on Vitality for the leader in that category, as Cactus, Rise, and P4 end up in dominating shape for it there. I agree with that wholeheartedly. Those were definitely the 3 that I was seeing stand out the most inside of that matchup. With Bibu, actually, like I said, having some good performances earlier on the attacking side, but definitely faltering off a little bit as we got into the later part of that half and the second half.
Yeah, just slightly indeed. And with that, of course, that is our scoreboard concluded. These players will not be playing anymore over, well, either today or tomorrow, because tomorrow will be a bit of a rest day for them. Well, that will be really rest day. I think it will be filled with scrims with teams that have been, well, eliminated, so to say. You know, they will still be around for a little while. You have the opportunity to still practice against them now, because you know you will not be meeting them anymore in the playoffs. And as we're talking about the groups here, of course, Group A is not being closed off yet. That is still a game to be played. Group B, however, is starting to close down. Team 1 4 wins, 2 losses. With that, secured number 1 position. Sandbox with 3 wins, 2 losses is still currently playing up against Dark Zero. We do not know how that one will end. However, due to the head-to-head that they had over Vitality, due to 2 wins, they will be the ones that go into that second place. Nothing Vitality can do about that one with 9 points.
Even round share advantage would still fall the way of Sandbox there as well, as you can see over on the right side of your screen. So that's unfortunate for Vitality, coming very, very close in terms of points, but ultimately falling just that little bit short inside of the tiebreaker scenario. And that's assuming, of course, that Dark Zero still ends up winning the game going on over on our Alpha stream. That's the end of this match, ladies and gentlemen. We hope you did enjoy it. We're not done just yet, of course, here from the Bravo stream. Still plenty of action to go, so stick with us, and we'll be coming back in just a little bit with the next match here on the stream.